जब आप अपना ही नाम भूलने लगो, पेन पकड़ने में हाथ काम ना करें और जिंदगी एक ब्लर बन जाए, व्हाट डू यू डू? ज्यादातर लोग वहां रुक जाते हैं, बट कर्नल आशुतोष तिवारी डिड नॉट। उन्होंने सिर्फ रिकवरी नहीं चूज की, उन्होंने अपने आप को दोबारा री इमेजिन किया। फ्रॉम द शार्प डिसिप्लिन ऑफ अ सोल्जर टू द डीप साइलेंस ऑफ अ सीकर, he became what he calls a Buddha warrior. साइकिलिंग, पेंटिंग, मेडिटेशन, ये सब उनकी हीलिंग के टूल्स बन गए। एंड टुडे ही इज गाइडिंग अदर्स टू फाइंड देयर ओन सोल फ्रीक्वेंसी। ये एपिसोड एक कहानी है ऑफ न्यूरोप्लास्टिसिटी, स्पिरिचुअलिटी और अनस्टॉपेबल करेज। ये सोच बदलेगी शायद जिंदगी भी। Tipsy Mondays begins now. And I'm your host, Tipsy Mondays. Col Ashutosh Tewari, a very warm welcome to Tipsy Mondays.
Hello, Tipsy. How are you?
Absolutely fine, Ashu. And the audience is dying to get to know a little bit more about you, your journey thus far, and the various facets, the various peaks that you have taken it to. We would really like to delve into your life story now in the next 20-25 minutes and get to know you a little better, get to know the experiences that you have been, get to know the achievements that you have made, and what are your plans for the future after this. All right, we begin pretty early in your life. I was told that your NDA dream began in class 8. So what kept that flame alive while growing up?
So my mother, God bless her soul, she used to tell me that as a child, very early in my childhood, I used to sing 2 songs.
Okay.
The first one goes, ये कौन चित्रकार है, ये कौन चित्रकार है.
Okay.
Basically, who's this painter?
Right.
And the second one goes, मम्मी मैं तो सीखूंगा गोली चलाना, लीडर ना बनूंगा, मुझे फौजी ऑफिसर बनाना.
Oh, wow.
Now this is very early in my life.
Okay.
So if you see, ये कौन चित्रकार है? That is the cry of a seeker, somebody who's curious.
Right.
You know, how things work and all.
Right.
And yet I wanted to be a soldier.
Okay.
So these 2 separate selves were always part of my journey in my personality.
Excellent.
And later on in 1983, I joined NDA.
Right.
But before that, it was as early as class 8th in DPS Arkipuram
Okay.
that I was passionate to join NDA, to become a soldier, Fauji officer, as I used to sing.
All right.
So, as you are aware, during our time, it was a zen to join IIT, AIMS and IIMs.
Absolutely.
But I was passionate to join NDA. And God's grace, in 1983, I did.
Okay.
And in 1987, I became a Fauji officer.
Right. Right. Oh, that's excellent. I'm also told, Ashu, that you're one of those rare postmates that I've come across who gets up very, very early in the wee hours of the morning to meditate, and you meditate for good about an hour, 2 hours, or something like that, right? So
Yeah.
I'm also told that during one of these sessions of meditation, quite early in the morning, while you were posted in Shillong in the Northeast, you experienced a turning point in your life. And in your own words, in the various media that you've written, you describe that as an atomic explosion moment. Could you tell us a little bit more about it?
Okay, fast forward to 2010.
Right.
I was posted in Northeast, that is Shillong.
Okay.
As you are aware, Shillong is a beautiful place, mountains, streams, waterfall, lovely people.
Yeah.
So by practice, I used to get up early in the morning.
Okay.
But in the earlier part, I used to just go out, walk, cycle, and come back.
Okay.
But slowly, the seeker in me started asking questions. कि ये कौन चित्रकार है?
Okay.
So that made me spend more time with the nature.
Okay. All right.
I would sit by the stream, I would sit by the waterfall, even talk to the trees at time.
Okay.
And that started changing things.
Right.
And I remember it was 18th of February 2010.
Right.
When everything in my life changed. Everything.
Okay.
Again, it was a beautiful morning. February means winters were still there.
Yeah.
Misty, foggy, very peaceful. So I again went out, and after an hour or so of biking and all, I came back.
Okay.
And I had a quick bath and I sat down for my meditation.
Right.
So what generally I used to do, and presently also what I do is I put on my Bose speakers,
Okay.
and through the Bluetooth I attach Om chant.
Okay. Okay.
So it was during that moment, maybe after around 20 odd minutes, that I suddenly started feeling a surge of energy, mega joules of energy.
Right.
And that started rising up my spine.
Okay.
Tipsy, I really got worried. I'm telling you, it was scary to start with.
Right.
I got horrified what is happening.
Okay.
And it kept on increasing in intensity
Okay.
and kept on rising up.
Okay.
So I was a little worried. But again, the wise man inside me, the voice inside me said, chill, relax, let the energy flow through you.
Right. Right.
So what happened was the energy, it rose and it came to my throat.
Okay.
My throat started pulsating like this.
Right.
And it still happens when I sit in meditation.
Okay.
And then it hit the proverbial third eye, the
Okay.
center of the eyebrow.
Right.
And there was a circular motion like this, anti-clockwise. And it is at that moment, my eyes twitched, went up, and went inside.
Okay.
Oh, I still have goosebumps when I talk about this.
I too. Listening to you, I can understand what you went through. Yeah.
And that was a moment. You see, everything became quiet, silent.
Right.
It was so peaceful.
Okay.
It's beyond words. I can't explain it. In that silence, what happened was, that is what I'm saying is my atomic explosion. I reached a critical mass.
Right.
That critical mass, I'll say, there is a doorway which opened up. So I could hop across to this side and that side.
Right.
That was my moment of atomic explosion in Northeast.
Okay. Okay. Oh, fantastic. I mean, one, has to be in that moment to actually understand what you went through. But I got a fair idea as to what exactly happened to you. And it must be a life-changing moment and a very enlightening moment at that. All right. We fast forward another 5 years and get you into your tenure in Leh. There was something in Leh which happened and which also altered, the course of your life and brought you to a greater awakening and a greater understanding of things and a reconciliation or an acceptance of things as one could put it across. Could you tell us a little bit more about it?
I was posted close to Kargil in Khumatan.
Right.
That is at around 11,000 plus feet.
Right.
And you know the problems of serving in high altitudes. I'm sure you would have also done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
no, you will have to explain it to the audience.
Yeah. So what happened was, as you're aware, there are 3 stages of mountain sickness.
Right.
The first stage is the high altitude mountain sickness, then is the high altitude pulmonary edema, and the mother of all sickness is high altitude cerebral edema.
Okay.
And lo behold, I caught that. I went through that.
Okay.
So it really changed my life completely. It went right across like this, on its head, 180 degrees.
You will have to tell us in more detail what exactly is HACO. What happens in HACO?
Okay. So high altitude cerebral edema is a condition wherein, due to the rarity of the atmosphere at that height, one is unable to breathe.
Okay.
So biologically what happens is the supply of oxygen to the brain.
Right.
It drops.
Okay.
So what the brain does is it tries to pick up moisture and oxygen from all the fluids which are there in the skull.
Right.
So what happens is there are the various regions of the brain, they get, damaged, so to say.
Okay.
It was very miraculous for me. It changed my complete life. I'll share with you.
Yeah.
My hand started shaking.
Okay.
I had tremors in my hand.
Right.
There was a distinct slur that I had.
Okay.
Number of moments of forgetfulness. And it was quite disheartening. Something in me broke open.
Okay.
I was so active all my life. I would stop at nothing.
Right.
But here was a moment which changed me completely.
Right.
It changed me completely. My health took a beating, so to say.
Okay.
And I'll say that I was lucky later on that one of my friends, he introduced me to neuroplasticity.
All right.
Now, neuroplasticity is a science. He explained to me very nicely. He says that through creativity,
Right.
you can retrain and rejig your mind.
Okay.
So
Okay. Tell us a little,
initially,
tell us a
I
little
didn't
bit more
understand.
about it. Neuroplasty.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a new, very interesting subject.
yeah.
Yeah.
So neuroplasticity, what happens is there are various regions in the brain.
Right.
There is a domain network. There is an executive control network. So there are various regions,
Right.
and all of them are connected by neural pathways, a network of nerves, so to say.
Right.
So what happens in HACO is that the messaging stops.
Okay.
Somebody has clipped the one of the nerves. So
Okay.
the nerve which is connected to a part of the brain which performs a particular specific function,
Right.
that goes haywire, and your motor skills suffer.
Okay.
Your cognitive flexibility suffers,
Right.
etc., etc. So this guy told me, Ashu, give it a shot. Through creativity, you can retrain your brain. So, and we
Okay.
parted. But
Okay.
that thing stuck in my mind, and I took it very seriously.
Right.
And I kept on following that. And as you're aware, creativity alone has been the reason that I have found back my life.
Absolutely.
Creativity, what it does is, if you were to ask biologically,
Right.
creativity regenerates damaged pathways, neural pathways. It joins the highways across the left lobe and the right lobe. And then it is at that point in time that certain neurotransmitters are like dopamine and serotonin.
Okay.
They come into the whole system, and that helps you retrain the brain. So it is basically some kind of a chemical reaction which is taking inside.
Okay.
But I can say this much that I still do regress on some days.
Okay.
But Tipsy, I now know that I can win.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, second your claim, your stake. You are so creative. We'll give a glimpse of your creativity to the audience a little later. But I'm absolutely, sure in my mind that it's the creativity which is, keeping you afloat. And you talked about, I used to have a lot of go. You haven't lost that go, Ashu. Still, you have so much of go. If I just, start discussing your routine with the audience, they're going to be absolutely spellbound by the number of activities and the variety of activities that you indulge in even today. All right, we'll move on from there. We'll come on to another term that you have used in your bio. That's called a Buddha warrior. Now, what does a Buddha warrior mean to you, and how is it different from just being a plain seeker?
So you see, earlier I told you that there were two personas in my personality: a seeker,
right,
who was curious to know how things work. So there was a seeker and there was a soldier. So Buddha warrior is nothing else. There is a Buddha warrior in you also, in all of us also.
Okay.
So Buddha is the wisdom, the potential.
Right.
And the warrior is the exe file,
Okay.
action, karma.
Okay.
So when the both of them fuse in harmony, that is the key word. If one were to walk separately and the other was to walk on a separate path, then it will be just a seeker and a soldier. So the soldier matured into a warrior,
right,
and the seeker matured into a Buddha. Buddha is basically a potential.
Okay. And, talking of now Buddha and spirituality and all, you also blend science with spirituality, from Gita to quantum physics. How do these two seemingly opposite paths meet in your practice?
Tipsy, we are all aware that science is basically seeking objective truth.
Okay.
Through experiments, lab tests, and reason.
Right.
Whereas spirituality seeks the same truth, but the subjective truth by engaging in inner contemplation,
right,
intuition,
right,
and meditation and all.
Okay.
So both are seeking the same thing, the truth, how things work at the end of it. Scientists do it in the lab, and a spiritualist or one who meditates, he does it inside.
Right.
So it is the beautiful amalgamation of two paths, separate paths. The spiritual path, which I think, to my mind, it is at the heart level, feelings, etc., etc.
Right. Understood.
And the logical part, that is the warrior.
Okay. Okay. So it's primarily, an amalgamation or a joint between your brain and your heart, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Logic and heart.
Logic.
Logic and emotion, to be precise.
Excellent. Later on in your life, after having gone through and experienced so many, I'll say, variations and experiences in your life, you shifted to life coaching. I'm very sure the shift is to actually pass on to the others what you have experienced and the enlightenment that you have received. What kind of people come to you for guidance, and what actually inspired you, towards this shift towards life coaching?
So the coaching transition took place, I think, around between 2012 and 2015.
Okay.
I cleared an exam in Canada.
Okay.
And that was a transition as far as the certification is concerned.
So that is,
now,
let me put it correct chronologically. This is after the Shillong movement and before the Leh movement.
Absolutely.
Right.
I was posted in Delhi actually before I went to Leh.
Okay.
So it is during this interim period that I got my certificate as a certified life coach.
Right.
So what happens is, as far as I am concerned, my coaching fundamentals revolve around two things. First, listening.
Okay.
Listening and more listening.
Okay.
It's very clear. The more I listen to a person, the more he opens up.
Right.
I mean, it's very clear. And the second fundamental which I follow is collaboration and co-creation. These are the two fundamentals of my coaching. Collaboration between whom? The coach and the client.
Right. Right.
The mind and the heart.
Right.
When everything is in union, then you are able to tell the client or the person who needs some clarity what is his purpose of life, and he can have a greater stillness in life.
Excellent. I think that's very well put there, and I'm sure a lot of clients of yours would actually be gaining by the tremendous experience that you have had in your life. There is a life code that you have designed, and you say that life runs on algorithms. So there are different codes that you use in your life coaching and all that. Could there be one single life code that you personally live by, and that's the same one that you preach to the others?
Yeah, so you see, this entire universe is working on an algorithm.
Okay.
What I believe, Tipsy, is that it's an algorithm chabi, which is just playing out itself.
Okay.
You see, there are seasons, there is a solar system, there is a universe, and even in living beings, in our DNA, isn't there a genetic code? It is through this genetic code that our life is lifing.
Okay.
So what I try to do is I find out all the possible algorithms from the inner world and try to harmonize that with the outer world and vice versa.
Okay.
So what happens is, the kind of people who come to me is that they want to seek clarity. That's what I can say.
Okay.
So my algorithm, if you say, is the past of the present is in the future of the now. It's a little complicated, but you know what it is? It is in the present of the now. So there is only one now.
Okay.
There is only here. There is no there. You see, we keep talking about there and in the past, etc., etc. But my algorithm is just to stay in the now.
Present.
I think that is the essential thing that drives my coaching, and that is what I use to, train and coach my clients.
Excellent. I think your concept is akin to mindfulness.
Yeah.
Living the moment, living the now, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. We in your writings, Ashu, I've also come across a phrase called meditation in motion. And I would like to hear more about meditation in motion from you.
Meditation in motion, Tipsy, is nothing. Meditation is the potential of a thing.
Right.
The possibility.
Okay.
That is meditation. So by meditation, you are increasing your capacity.
Right.
You're harnessing your potential.
Okay.
So the potential keeps rising. And motion is the execution of that. Okay. Putting all that you have learned, all your knowledge, all your experience, all your meditation, if you keep it inside, or read it in the book or write an article,
Right.
that doesn't work. Na? You got to put it in life, practical.
Okay.
So the meditation part is the wisdom,
Okay.
the potential, and the motion part is the kinetics, the
I was
action.
about to say that. Had you not said that, I would have, said, does it mean kinetic meditation? I think that's exactly
Yeah.
the essence by the experiences that you have had, and really impressed by the way you have recovered from there, and not only recovered, done so very well in your life to have come to a stage where you can teach and guide others who possibly would be going through the same trials and tribulations in their lives, and to come out of these trials and tribulation a winner. So hats off to you, Ashu, on that. With that,
Thank
we'll
you.
come down to the next very interesting round, which I have termed as Tipsy's 10. It's nothing but 10 rapid fire questions, one blast which you cannot avoid. You cannot get inside your cupola and say, fire over me. You will have to answer each and every one of them in a very, very short and crisp answer. Are you ready for that?
I'll do that. Roger,
All right. The first one coming your way is a quote that defines your life now.
follow your dreams, dream big,
Okay.
adjust, adapt, or perish.
That's a good one. Next one, French, Gita, or Reiki? One to teach
Oh,
the teens.
definitely Gita. It is the best user manual of life.
Okay. All right. Next, the most healing moment of your life thus far.
Undoubtedly, my recovery post Kargil, Hako.
Absolutely. I agree with that. A moment you truly felt alive.
Again, that one moment on 18th of February 2010, which changed everything in my life.
Okay. Connected with the atomic explosion, right?
Yeah.
All right. What's soul frequency in one sentence?
Now, soul frequency is nothing but your fundamental nature, your Buddhahood, who you are. Now, problem is we think who we are based on conditioning.
Right.
So by meditation and practice and everything, that even playing golf, if you can discover your own fundamental nature, then you will be very easily running through life in your skin. So that is the fundamental frequency. It's called the soul frequency.
All right. All right. Okay. The next one, pen or a paintbrush? What do you prefer?
Paintbrush, it colors my silence.
That's very well put. Uniform or cycling shorts?
Oh, cycling shorts. It is it's a uniform to my freedom.
Me too. Me too. I'm also there with you. All right. The next one, your mental detox trick.
My mental detox trick is to just sit in nature and let nature do the talking.
Excellent. Excellent. And as you said, you're a big proponent of listening, and listening. So I think it goes well there. Excellent. All right. The penultimate one, if life had background music, yours would be?
A flute of silence,
Okay.
graceful, melodious, and symphony.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. We come to the last one. Thus far, you've done exceedingly well. What's the title of your autobiography?
Buddha Warrior.
This episode is going to be named Buddha Warrior. So I think you will have a lot of happiness and satisfaction there. All right.
Thank you.
We've had a wonderful time discussing with you. Of course, it was a little painful getting to know your journey from where you have come from the moments of 2010, 15, and to this moment where you're a full-fledged life coach. You're living your life to the fullest and your creativity knows no bounds. Now, if there is one single message that you would like to leave the audience with, what would that be, Ashu?
I think from my life, I can share with the audience that life will throw a curveball at you and you will not even come to know. Your entire comfort zone will be thrown out of the window and you will be fighting with many challenges. But we are all born to evolve. And there is a warrior in all of us.
Right.
So get up and fight. That is my mantra.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, first I'll show you this. See, this is calligraphy.
All right.
This is my journey from shaking hands to calligraphy. So I say creativity works.
Okay.
So I'll go through this.
Right.
The heading goes brushstrokes of healing.
Okay.
When body broke and spirit bent, I found no cure in medicine's tent. But silence spoke in colored light, in shadows soft and skies so bright. The lens, that's my camera, the lens became my seeing eyes to frame the tears I couldn't cry. Each click a whispered prayer that pain and grace can both be here. With pen in hand, I dare to dream. In poems raw, I learned to heal. Lines and rhymes became my balm, a sacred calm in a quiet storm. In painting hues, my soul took flight from darkest nights to dawn's first light. Each canvas held what words could not, a wound remembered but never forgot. So now I say, with heart made whole, my creativity restored my soul. It taught me not just to survive, but to feel, hope, and be alive.
Excellent, excellent. I think as fantastic as your life journey thus far, Ashu, and it was really, really very, very impressive. And on behalf of the entire audience here, and people on the this side of Tipsy Stocks, I would like to thank you for your time, for being with us, and we definitely hope to see you again in the very near future, trying to showcase something else that you have achieved in your life, which the audience would really love to know about. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tipsy. It's always a pleasure meeting you. Thank you very much.
All the best. I take 3 important takeaways from this conversation. Number 1, creativity can be medicine. Engaging with art, nature, and movement rewires the brain and the spirit. Number 2, spiritual wisdom is not ancient fluff. It's a life algorithm. Gita, Reiki, quantum physics all tell the same truth but differently. And number 3, you're not your setbacks. You are your comeback. Neuroplasticity, self-discipline, and faith can rebuild what life breaks. Some battles aren't won on the field, but in the quiet of your own heart. Col Tewari's journey reminds us that every setback is a chance to rise, to rewire, and to reinvent yourself. आपकी जिंदगी का हर पल, हर मुश्किल एक नई शुरुआत बन सकती है. When you align your body, mind, and soul, you become the true warrior of your own life. Remember, recovery is not just about healing the body, but awakening the spirit within. So hold on, keep moving, and let your inner light shine. ये journey है आपकी. Transform, believe, and simply keep walking. If you like this episode, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It will give me the assurance that I am on the right track. Until next time, when I return with another interesting story, stay aware, stay inspired, and as always, stay thoda tipsy. Jai Hind.